This is KGW News at noon.
We're kicking things off here at noon with a live look at a couple of our sky cams. We'll be checking in with Rod here in just a second. He says this week is going to look a little crazy. You can see on the left-hand side a shot of Lincoln City, raindrops there on the camera, and then on the right-hand side, our Reserve Family Golf Course sky cam out in Aloha. Looking like rain, gray skies for sure, and taking you now out to our sky cam in the Dalles. They're actually seeing, or they're going to be on snow watch out there in the gorge. Let's bring in Rod now to give us a quick look and more info on that potential snow. Rod, what you got?
Yeah, and to be clear, for the Stevenson, Cascade, Locks, Hood River, the Dalles from that Oregon Veterans Home camera out there, we've been talking about, we still expect for you folks to see snow in the air, but still right now believing that temperatures will stay above freezing until tonight. But you folks could see some light snow accumulations out in the gorge overnight tonight into early tomorrow morning. Well, we thought going into noon and early afternoon would absolutely be widespread steady rain, and we were right. Look at how the rain has really poured in. And look right there, that white color is radar picking up snow. Here's the sunset out into Banks. I've checked all of the Trip Check ODOT cameras, and there are quite a few of them in this area. They all show temperatures just above freezing, and they all show no snow on the ground, but radar is showing that there may be a mix of some snowflakes in the air. Where it looks like heavy rain in Newburgh, that's probably in reality radar picking up perhaps in some of the hills a mix of rain and snow in that area as well. For today, the coast, the valley, it's just rain for the most part and not a ton of moisture. In fact, we could hold under 1/4 inch for Portland. But I want you to remember Saturday afternoon into Sunday early afternoon, one of the heaviest rain periods we're going to be looking at. Could be 2 inches or more come down, and then a bit of a break on Monday, but then another shot of heavier rain Tuesday night into Wednesday. And there's Futurecast rather showing this afternoon at 4 p.m. the snow in the gorge that could accumulate overnight. Right now, 35 Hillsboro, 34 Timber Junction, 39 downtown Portland, temperatures, and 36 in the Dalles. So that's good news for you folks. Temperatures are going to be holding pretty steady. It is snowing up in the high country. That's our Timberline camera. And there's the fresh snow on Highway 26 where a snow advisory is in play. I will talk more about all of that coming up in just a bit.
There is so much. Okay, thank you, Rod. Portland police are asking for your help finding a car they say was used in a child abduction. Police say the 3-year-old girl is safe, but they're still on the lookout for a 2017 dark blue Subaru Outback with the license plate from Oregon 639JVQ. So it all started with a call that came in around 7:30 this morning near Northeast Halsey Street and 126th Avenue. Officers say the girl was in the car waiting for her dad, who'd gone inside their home for a moment, when a young man in a beanie jumped in and drove off. Shortly after, police found the girl walking near San Rafael Street and Northeast 113th Avenue. Take a look at your screen. If you know anything, you can call Portland Police or you can also email them. Well, City Council members voted unanimously to spend up to $2.6 million on a permanent body camera program for Portland police officers. That decision came in last night. They hope to have body cams on most officers permanently by next summer. Nearly 300 patrol officers will be wearing the cameras every day, while 500 other sworn police, from detectives to sergeants, will wear them while interacting with the public.
It's long overdue. It is imperative in addressing police accountability. It is imperative in mitigating our risk of sometimes unfounded claims made against Portland police.
I also want to just caution the public, it's going to take some time for us to phase in the rollout of body cameras and make sure that everybody has sufficient training and sufficient understanding of how these tools will work.
For minor cases, officers will be able to review footage from body cameras before they write up a report. But in more serious cases, officers will be interviewed before they watch the video. And today we have new pictures showing how a man accused of kidnapping a Seattle woman tried to break out of jail. Investigators say Nagasi Zuberi used this plastic sandal with a screw in it to chip away at his jail cell window in Southern Oregon. We reported the attempted jailbreak back in August. Nagasi is accused of locking the Seattle woman he allegedly kidnapped in a cinder block cell at his Klamath Falls home. He's in jail on state and federal charges. He's expected back in court Monday. Law enforcement needs your help if you live in rural Yamhill County. They're looking for people who live off Highway 47 between Gaston and Yamhill and want to review any security video people may have. Deputies are interested in that 8-mile stretch because a 16-year-old was shot and killed in the area Monday afternoon. Not long after, 19-year-old Brendan Waco was arrested at a home in Cornelius. During that arrest, deputies found a gun, which is now being tested to see if it's the weapon that was used.
It's always a tragedy, but to see individuals of this age that, their lives and their families' lives are going to be impacted forever.
And while investigators have a suspect in custody, they say the investigation is far from over. If you have any information, contact the Yamhill County Sheriff's Office. We also have more details about a missing woman who had just moved to Portland for a new job. 28-year-old Wilma Acosta's parents are in town after driving 10 hours from California to search for her. Acosta had friends visiting this past weekend and was last seen leaving the Dixie Tavern in Portland's Old Town by herself around 2 a.m. Sunday. Acosta's family is hoping for answers.
We're going to put flyers all going down all down there and try to talk to people to see if they have seen her.
Love
Yes, of
my only
course.
daughter. We want her back. That's all.
Police say Acosta is about 5'5" and was wearing all black when she disappeared. If you know anything, call Portland Police. Now to an ongoing KGW investigation. We are hearing from American Medical Response, or AMR, after Multnomah County hit the ambulance company with $500,000 in fines for slow response times. Investigative reporter Evan Watson talked with a top AMR executive about what they're calling a looming catastrophe.
For more than a year, throughout my coverage of slow ambulance response times in Multnomah County, AMR has decided to stay, relatively quiet. The company provided short emailed statements saying they're working with the county on solutions. Not anymore. I met with AMR leaders who offered their most critical indictment of the current system yet, saying it's a crisis that's going to become a catastrophe. AMR blames Multnomah County's requirement that there should be 2 paramedics on every ambulance. There's currently a shortage of paramedics, and AMR says it can't staff about 40% of its total ambulance fleet. That's created a system of long wait times in response to emergency calls. Multnomah County EMS leaders say 2 paramedics are needed to provide better care, something AMR disagrees with. The company says if the county refuses to budge, it will harm the people who call 911 and have to wait in their most critical moments.
I think we need to be totally honest with the public, totally transparent every step of the way. And the fact is that with a system in crisis the way it is, and it going from crisis to catastrophe pretty quickly, it is going to impact them. They're going to call 911 and expect an ambulance in 8 minutes, and it's not going to get there for a long time after that, while they're with their loved one or whomever who is in dire straits. We don't want that.
AMR wants the county to switch to a model of 1 paramedic and 1 EMT per ambulance, which would let them spread out their current paramedic staff and get more ambulances in operation. AMR adds that's how surrounding counties like Clackamas and Clark and Washington operate. While that may be true, those counties still report issues with AMR response times. I questioned AMR about the desire to switch systems and asked if the push for adding EMTs is just a cost-saving measure. You can watch my full report now, including extended question and answer sections in the story section of KGW.com and on the KGW YouTube page.
Well, after Portland Public Schools and teachers agreed on a new contract this week, one Portland Public School Board member is suggesting money to pay for the deal could come from Oregon's kicker rebate. The district has said the contract will cost about $175 million over the next few years and will mean significant budget cuts. So school board members have called on the state for more funding. But board member Andrew Scott said lawmakers should consider taking the kicker tax credit and giving it to schools instead of taxpayers. The kicker is triggered when state revenues exceed projections by at least 2%. And this year, the average refund is expected to be about $2,100.
Historically, people have looked at the kicker and they've tended to say for the past, more than 40 years, we think it's a good thing.
And that's why that expert says the change is unlikely, not only because it would be unpopular, but also Oregon's constitution would need to change. Meantime, Governor Tina Kotek has asked the state's financial and education leaders to weigh in on funding.
And we are excited to keep this thing moving and compete at a championship level and a top 25 level.
That is Oregon State's new head football coach, Trent Bray, talking about making the leap from defensive coordinator to head coach. He's taking over at a critical time with the Beavers' conference plans uncertain. At a news conference yesterday, Bray explained why he's ready to take on the role.
I found out real late in the process, and it didn't sit quite right with me, which is why I wasn't in a hurry to get on the plane when he asked me to go. And then when I was presented this opportunity, I stayed even longer and wanted to hear this out and see where this could go, and best decision I've made.
The Beavers are set to play a bowl game, though we won't find out which one until this weekend. Meantime, Athletic Director Scott Barnes says he expects to release a schedule for next season very soon.